Wildfires. They can burn at over 2,000 degrees and move faster than a human being can run. It's a lethal, inescapable trap, but today we are going to engineer a fortress using only school supplies found in an ordinary classroom. Critical disaster supply right here, critical. Last year, I went inside the Eaton Canyon burn zone. I saw neighborhoods flatten in minutes. Check out this entire neighborhood. Everything is devastated.
Before we even think about dealing with fire, we had to prove this structure wouldn't collapse under its own weight, so I brought in a brutal client to run a raw structural model test.
Hey, Liam.
Hey, Disaster Patrick.
Excellent. So, what have you got for me today?
I have a very unique challenge. I want you to design and create a wildfire shelter out of the school supplies.
Wow, that's really going to be something else.
So before fire, let's focus on pure structural physics. If these raw supplies can't even hold the shape of a solid box, we've already lost.
We got scissors so we can cut stuff.
Makes sense.
And we also got yardsticks.
Yardsticks. This is going to be really great.
This is a poster board. You can use it for the walls.
Everything you've shown me here are all the materials I can use, right?
Yeah.
So we're going to go ahead and open this up. And I think we should design it right here. This is a nice clean deck.
But a real fire is chaotic, windy, and hot. If this structure fails on a calm day, its survival chance is absolute zero.
Here you go.
Sounds good. All right. This thing has got to be like a cube, I think, right?
Yeah.
I think we got a really nice design here. We're going to call this
Liam's Wildfire Shelter.
You got it, man. In Northern California, we get wildfires a lot. And in order for an effective wildfire shelter to work, it has to meet 3 criteria: flame, heat, and smoke. And as we start this building, I have to keep those 3 considerations in mind.
And it all starts right here with the most obvious one, direct flame.
Let's be clear, this school supply model will not work in a real wildfire. It's a prototype.
We are testing the pure structural integrity today. To see if these thin materials can even hold their own weight, we've mapped out the entire construction sequence. We start with the yardsticks as our main skeleton framework.
Hey, Patrick, I think I need a chocolate break.
You know what? I think I need one too. Critical disaster supply right here. Critical. And let's figure out how big this thing is. So while I'm doing this, you handle that.
Okay.
Next up, we're gonna put the ceiling on, because the ceiling's actually gonna go right here. Woo, we did it. You see how solid that is? That's so much better, huh?
Yeah.
Then we place flat rulers across the roof structure to act as load-bearing cross beams so the ceiling doesn't sag. To prevent lateral swaying, we brace vertical corners with wooden pencils to reinforce weak points.
See these pencils you brought me?
Yeah.
We're gonna use these to help reinforce it. This is gonna be a great back wall. Perfect. Voila.
Now for the thermal layer, we wrap the exterior skin in aluminum foil, our only barrier against heat transfer.
All right, guys, so if I'm gonna create this wildfire structure out of school supplies, obviously I'm not gonna be able to just use the poster board, because if I do, this will happen. So instead, I'm gonna try to put some aluminum foil on there. We should aluminum foil this guy. Finally, we place 3-ring binders on top, bracing the entryway columns with rulers, and then we drop a safety hatch door. Ta-da!
Looks pretty nice.
All right.
How smooth this is.
Okay, guys, so before I show this to Liam, I want you to take a look at the final structure for yourselves. The poster board was great because it allowed us to create a little door in here. These pillars, which are holding it up, are made of groups of rulers that we'd put together, and everything binding all the aluminum foil together, which covers the entire structure. So everything in here fits to the requirements that Liam has given me. To establish our structural baseline, we're testing this box against the precise order of a real wildfire breakthrough. Step 1 is flame penetration. Step 2 is radiant heat transfer. Step 3 is toxic smoke infiltration. All right, guys, so now it's time for the flame test. So I've got a propane torch right here. This burns at 2,300 to 3,500 degrees. This is gonna be absolutely perfect for this. I'm gonna try it. Oh, check it out.
The aluminum foil didn't even last 3 seconds against direct flame. It completely dissolved. That's a major failure. The metal skin failed immediately, and also right behind it, metric number 2 went down. Radiant heat transfer. Heat buckled and scorched the inner frame material. It's totally baking the interior. It's boiling. The structure isn't even touching the flame directly anymore, but the radiant heat transfer is hot enough to cause a secondary fire inside. The final threat was smoke, so we lit a controlled fire to find out if our shelter could actually keep it out. Within seconds, the prototype was engulfed in smoke.
All right, guys, so I got my disaster kit here. I got my air quality monitor.
The seals failed. Toxic air rushed inside and the AQI spiked off the charts in under 2 minutes. Total failure. If you were inside, smoke inhalation would likely get you long before the fire. This proved one thing. Structurally, this prototype held, but school supplies alone can't save your life.
Time to fix it in the lab.
Yes, the prototype was a failure, but before heading to the lab, I had a promise to keep to my great assistant. Liam, I got a surprise for you. Thank you for challenging me, and so I gave you this. So I hope you really like it. But I owe you a structure that actually works. So now it's time for me to get to the lab and see what I can do.
Welcome to the real lab. The backyard test was a disaster, but we are not giving up on our materials. It failed, but we are going to fix it. Our 3-part test exposed massive vulnerabilities. The foil ripped, the poster board scorched, and the smoke leaked right through. Hear that? That is the sound of absolute failure. So how do we optimize school supplies to actually beat a firestorm? To see exactly where the failure points start, we are going to burn this Michael's house down right now. Even if the flames don't burn through the shelter, the thermal energy can cook you alive inside.
All right, guys, so the first thing we have to create is a moisture sink, which essentially is a radiant shield, which ensures that this isn't gonna pop at 1200 degrees. We've now seen what happens when we simply just put foil on the top of it. That foil is gonna start pulling away. We're gonna cover this in foil, but I'm gonna do it differently. We're actually laminating it with heavy school glue and mixing it with a flame stop solution.
Once dry, it forms an airtight, fire-resistant shell.
All right, so you can see that I've finished here. You can see the S's I've placed here. I need to actually spread the glue out, and I don't want to do it too much. I want to do it enough so that it is translucent against the board. So as you guys can see, I've now put the S glue on both sides of the poster board. So now we're going to add the good old aluminum foil.
The problem wasn't the heat, it was the blast force. Bonding the aluminum directly to the poster board creates a reinforced skin that resists tearing under direct flame exposure.
And you notice I don't want any of this poster board showing and I've left a little bit additional, some extra, because I don't want this potentially to pop entirely off. There we go. So you can see I've covered the poster board on both sides with the aluminum foil, but I've also added the glue in here. It will ensure that this doesn't bubble up. This will be a perfect one side to our wildfire shelter. To solve metric number 2, radiant heat,
we are multiplying our thermal shield, a double panel system.
this is the really important part. I need to do everything possible to prevent what we call convective heat. So what we need to do is we need to create about an inch of air between the interior wall and the exterior wall. So by creating a space of air, we're gonna prevent that convective heat from coming in through the outer wall to the inner wall and basically roasting us inside. So here's something I found in a first grade classroom that would be perfect. You know, your teachers always had binders around? Here you go. These are what we call rounded binder spines. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna place these spines about 6 inches apart. So here we go. I'm gonna take these spines here and then my trusty glue again, and I'm gonna glue them to the board. As you can see, I've put the binder spines exactly 6 inches apart here. Now you can see how this is going to look. I need these spines to set, so I'm gonna lay some things on top of it just for a couple of hours, and then it'll be ready to go.
The prototype failed because we underestimated radiant heat. A single wall simply couldn't stop the energy transfer. This time we're fighting physics with physics. A 1-inch insulated air gap that forces the thermal load to dissipate before it ever reaches the interior.
All right, guys, this has been sitting here now for about 2 hours or so. What we need to do now is we need to trap this air in here. I'm gonna take this, it's gonna wrap all the way around. That will prevent the heat from going directly into the structure. Okay, so now we have to create a passive life support system, because ultimately in the end, doesn't matter how great the structure is, if the oxygen levels are below 19%, that's going to be extremely difficult and life-threatening. So what I have to do is I have to have a vent. I have to have a way for air to come in without creating a vacuum in the structure and without creating a structure that essentially is negative pressure. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna show you how we're gonna create a specific air filter which is gonna allow us to breathe the air in it. These are very cool art supplies. These are charcoal, which you can find anywhere. So the next thing you need is a sock. How many first grade classrooms have socks? Yeah, all of them. And then I'm gonna start breaking these up. Basically have a lot of powder here. This charcoal is gonna act as a part of an air filter. So the next thing I will have to do, I am going to cut a 3-inch slat at the bottom of this. I placed some coffee filters. They will filter out the particulate matter, just like when you're making coffee in the morning. Then I have placed the sock with the charcoal in there. These will sit on the inside shell. Now there's one last thing I'm gonna have to do. On the slanted roof, I have to put a 1-inch hole up there because I wanna make sure that there is a positive pressure coming in and out of it. We've now successfully patched every single point of failure on our list. The material upgrades are complete.
But before the final test, we need to understand what went wrong during the LA fires. Let's head into the archives.
This footage isn't just archival material, it's a stark reminder of the sheer violence of fire. But look closer. This wasn't just a natural disaster, it was a catastrophic human management problem. The first breakdown was systemic.
The emergency alert system completely choked, sending alerts to the wrong areas when they were needed most. The wildfire was moving faster than the alert system. Families received evacuation warnings after the fire had already reached their homes. The system failed them. And when the system fails, help can take 45 minutes or more to arrive, long after conditions have turned deadly. The second failure was logistical chokeout.
What do you do when there's a raging wildfire and you have to evacuate? How are we going to be able to do that? Well, the way most people do, by car. They all suddenly enter the freeway at the same moment. That becomes extremely problematic. That is an invitation for jams here.
Panicked evacuations created massive traffic jams that trapped thousands of people. The third failure was emergency response. The McChrystal report found local agencies were unprepared and dispatch quickly collapsed. The McChrystal report revealed a harsh reality. Sometimes evacuation simply isn't possible. You're trapped. When evacuation fails, you have one option: survive where you are.
So I'm offering you a completely new tool. Execute a shelter-in-place posture directly inside an active wildfire.
This isn't a luxury bunker, it's a temporary survival shelter. Its only job is to buy you enough time for the fire front to pass and help to arrive. The rationale is fully established. Fleeing blind is a trap, but a short-duration static defense can be engineered using data. No more talking about the past. We have the exact thermal loads and smoke metrics from the McChrystal logs. We're leaving the paperwork behind and heading straight back to the workbench to see if our upgraded school supply hacks can actually hold the line.
We're taking the historical data out of the books and applying it directly to our physical components.
Let's see if this temporary shelter concept can withstand the triple threat. We have the components right here. Time to put the theory to a real test. If this next version fails, we go back to zero. Let's find out.
Every single modification is locked in. The final testing sequence begins now.
Torch is ready. Let's see if the glue layer holds up.
The school supply prototype is fully prepared to meet the triple threat head on.
All right, guys, time to see if this works. Striking flame in 3, 2, 1.
Let's be honest, that backyard structure had zero chance of working.
So I'm in remote California building a real temporary node, but even that is useless if you can't move between safe harbors.
You guys know that one of the most important things that I emphasize to people is your disaster backpack. I carry disaster supplies with me everywhere I go. It gives you the resources that you need immediately to protect you, even when rescuers aren't around. In the Palisades and Eaton fire in 2025, people waited hours for rescuers to come and get them. And that was simply because evacuation lines became long and there were false alerts that came out. There was all kinds of panic. So one of the things that I teach to folks is what I call the 5-pocket method.
To completely eliminate open-ended confusion when a crisis strikes, we modularize your entire mobile survival payload across 5 distinct pockets. Pocket 1 is your physical pocket, containing immediate hands-free protection and transit gear. Pocket 2 is psychological. These are tactical pattern interrupters designed to channel intense adrenaline into razor-sharp focus so you can instantly execute the evacuate, shelter-in-place, or lockdown loop. Pocket 3 is personal. This is reserved strictly for life-critical prescriptions and unique biological or medical requirements that keep your human engine running off the grid. Pocket 4 is papers. This means maintaining encrypted, offline accessible digital and physical identification, asset inventories, and insurance deeds so your life can reboot immediately after the front passes. And Pocket 5 is your phone payload, your digital lifeline packed with offline mapping data, secondary redundant communication networks, and localized backup power blocks. Forget traditional gear. If you can't breathe, see, or move, you're done. That's why a respirator, headlamp, and sturdy boots come first.
And so what I'm going to be doing today when I'm in that shelter is picking certain supplies that I'm going to need, because I know that it could be a very long time before they come find me. The building phase is over. We are inside the environmental testing lab to face the 3 deadly elements: flame, heat, and smoke.
Metric 1 flame. Our first prototype failed instantly when direct fire tore through the aluminum skin. To fix it, we laminated heavy-duty foil over a reinforced glue layer, creating a multi-layer radiant shield. The 3D simulation shows how the laminated shield distributes heat to prevent ignition. If the math is wrong, this shelter becomes a burning trap. Metric 2 radiant heat. Blocking flames isn't enough. The trapped heat can still become lethal. We solved this with passive cooling channels built from binder spines, redirecting thermal energy away from the shelter. If they fail, the interior reaches fatal temperatures. Metric 3 toxic smoke. Smoke kills long before the flames. Our engineered air scrubber creates positive pressure, forcing clean air in and toxic smoke out. If the system fails, the shelter fills with deadly gases within seconds.
There's only one real way to test it. I'm getting inside.
All right, guys, so I got my disaster kit here. I got my air quality monitor. I have to try to remain as close as I can like this, and I want to duck my head down as much as possible. I want to try to protect my oxygen. The more stressed I get, the more I'm going to start using up critical oxygen. That is going to be very important that I remain relaxed.
It's tight, it's dark, and outside we are unleashing a 3-headed monster.
When I was telling people about this challenge, people were asking me why. Frankly, evacuation isn't possible for everybody. Sometimes you have to create a temporary shelter entirely for yourself, just like this one.
Outside, the temperature is climbing past anything survivable.
People believe that when they call 911 during a disaster, magically a rescue team is going to show up and whisk them away, when in fact, there's a lot of other people who are doing the exact same thing. During the Palisades and Eaton fire, people waited way over an hour for rescue teams to arrive. This is the ultimate independence. This allows you to control your space. Everything outside of this space is a gamble.
So there you have it.
We started with a prototype built entirely out of school supplies and it failed. Flame, heat, smoke, all 3. But we didn't stop there. We took it into the lab, re-engineered it, tested it again, and this time it held. Every single metric. We built this shelter because in a crisis, hope is not a strategy.
Precision is.
Secure your perimeter, establish your anchor points, and never leave your survival to chance.
This was definitely a difficult challenge. This just shows you that anyone can build a wildfire structure out of a lot of different kinds of materials, and we used rulers and we used binders and we used masking tape, and it just shows that it's something that can be used for anyone. So glad I had my friend Liam here to challenge me to this. We had a really good time, didn't we?
Yeah.
This is Disaster Patrick, and remember, prepare for a disaster.
You'll never experience one.